Marvel Fan 45 here, and I just got done recording my Vertigo review, and I'm getting ready to rewatch Dune eventually. But yeah, I decided to do another review for a movie I like quite a bit, like Vertigo. They're not at all similar, but I like both of them. So, on the topic of Dune, we'll be talking about my favorite Denis Villeneuve film, Sicario, released in 2015, obviously directed by Denis Villeneuve, and starring Josh Brolin, Benicio del Toro, and Emily Blunt. And the plot follows a hostage rescuer person, it's not explicitly stated, who's recruited to join in the drug war, and she very quickly realizes nothing is what it seems. So yeah, Sicario. So previously in one of my reviews, I stated Prisoners was my favorite Denis Villeneuve film. And while Prisoners is still great, I don't love that movie as much as I used to. I still love it, but it's not as good as Sicario, in my opinion. Sicario also just has more rewatch value for me. I think I'm only ever going to watch Prisoners like twice. But yeah, Sicario. Jóhann Jóhannsson. It's the first thing I gotta bring up. Jóhann Jóhannsson is on his A game here. May he rest in peace. This is one of the, not even exaggerating, one of my favorite scores, period. The score is literally called The Beast. Like, if you have not seen, like, even just go watch a scene. Go watch the highway scene. In that scene, just imagine that without the score. Like, this movie without the score would be like half of what it is, if that makes sense. But like, where to even start? Okay. Jóhann Jóhannsson, we get back to him. So The Beast. The score has this way of ramping up tension where the crossing the border sequence is the best example, where it's just like constantly, you hear the constant pounding of the score and it's constantly like doom, 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 and you know something's gonna happen. And then as soon as that score climaxes, that, oh my gosh, that's in my opinion a perfect scene. Like, well, not a perfect scene, because nothing is perfect, but like a perfect scene in terms of scoring. But like, the final scene in the caves, where there isn't as much score, even that's great. But like, the scene where there is score, it's unreal. That final cue for the score with the final shot, which that final shot is immaculate, is amazing. And then I could just go on. The score is like pitch perfect. The scene in the bank too, where they have the score on, and then Josh Brolin is like, no, don't go in the bank, you don't get it. We're not gonna arrest him if we do that. And then that scene at the bar, and then the moment where like she realizes something's up, and then the music cues in, and you realize, oh crap, something went wrong, is like amazing. But yeah, that's just the score. Visually, I like it. There are a few great, stunning shots, but like, I've started having this issue with the Denis Villeneuve movies, where it's like, as great as they look, I don't like how drained of color and like stale they look sometimes, if that makes sense. Like, Prisoners looks great, but it also looks just like completely dry and devoid of life. But at the same time, it's, I don't even know what to say. This is, it's hard to explain. It's just like, Denis Villeneuve's films aren't as beautiful to me as they used to be. Like, they have this realism to them, but they don't have good realism, if that makes sense. Like, he's barely there. If he like made a few color adjustments, it would look great. But like, it doesn't always look great. That's my honest opinion. Now, don't get me wrong, there are tons of stunning moments. Again, the crossing the border sequence, the cave sequence, I had some issues with how he shot that. Like, I appreciated it a little more on rewatch, but like, I don't think he needed to do that in the final sequence. Like, I would have preferred it if I could see everything clearly and not like through weird lens goggles. Now, I could get that that's trying to ramp up tension, but like, I just didn't see the point. Like, it looks good in a few scenes, but like, not all the scenes. However, the Benicio del Toro bit near the end, the way he films it, amazing. Beautiful. Perfect. Great. 10 out of 10. Good job. But then, I don't know. I like it visually. I like it. Roger Deakins looks great. Looks great as always. Again, yeah. I just don't think it looks as great as it used to for me. Like, once you've been exposed to more films, like, your views of stuff start changing, if that makes sense. Like, when I saw a Michael Mann film for the first time, like, that completely changed how I viewed how crime thrillers could look. Like, look at Miami Vice. Like, which is very possibly my favorite movie. I say that about every movie, though. Like, that movie literally changed the way a crime film could be shot. And it is, in my opinion, the greatest use of digital cinematography ever. But I'm not saying everything has to, like, push the boundaries of, like, how things can be shot. But, like, it has the same style as Skyfall, just, like, a little more, like, darker coded. Like, a lot more blacks and grays and barren deserts. Like, I don't know what my issue is with the cinematography in this movie. It just doesn't click with me as much as it used to. Like, I like more vibrant movies now in terms of how they look. Like, even Evangelion 3.0, which is animated, looks like stunning. Now, okay, I don't want all movies to look vibrant. Like, I'm saying movies can be realistic. I'm just saying, like, I don't like the way Villeneuve does realism, if that makes sense. Like, that was my issue with Blade Runner 2049. That's what it was. Okay, I figured out why I didn't like the camera work. Okay, so my issue with Blade Runner 2049, which comment if you want me to review it. I'll force myself to rewatch it, and hopefully I'll like it more. But my big issue with that movie was that the camera work was, like, so real and trying to be gritty that, like, it completely destroyed, like, the Blade Runner original atmosphere. Now, don't get me wrong, like, you can do that. That can be fine, but, like, it was just a little too polished. Like, he could have done the same style of camera work, and if he just added, like, some grime to it and made things look older, then I would be fine with it. Like, I would be completely okay with it. But, like, everything looks polished and new. No, that's my issue with this movie. That's what it was. It looks like a set. Like, it doesn't look like a movie. It doesn't look like, I don't know, like, Skyfall. Even that movie. That movie doesn't look like a set. That looks like things are, like, actually happening. Mission Impossible Fallout doesn't look like a set. Looks like things are actually happening. But, like, here, I just instantly knew, like, why does this look so much like a set? Like, yeah, that's my issue with Villeneuve. He makes things look too fake, if that makes sense. Like, Prisoners and, like, Arrival didn't have that problem as much, but, like, here, it was just more apparent to me for some reason. Now, in later scenes, it's less apparent, but in that opening scene, well, the opening, like, 10 or 20 minutes, it feels like a set to me, if that makes sense. Okay, sorry about that, like, 10-minute rant about how it looks like a set. But, yeah. Performance-wise, Josh Brolin. He's the man here. That final speech he gives, oh my gosh, that gives me chills every time. Like, what's the line? He's like, "Oh yeah, you're gonna shout and tell someone? Go ahead, like shout, tell everyone. Like you can't tell anyone what you saw here today." And then, what's the exact quote? It's like, "You this is a land of wolves now, and you're not a wolf," or something like that. I know it just starts with "This is a land of wolves," but yeah, Josh Brolin, man, he gives off a really fake vibe at the start of this where you think he's just like some lazy office person, and then the movie starts, and then like you find out what he actually does. And then Benicio del Toro, second best performance here in my opinion. He is amazing. Actually, no, third best. He is amazing here. Any time he's on screen, just instant tension, like instant tension, like he's so good. Emily Blunt is amazing as Kate here too. She definitely gives like an every person vibe when she's doing stuff, because like you can believe that she like is traumatized that she saw all these dead bodies in this room at the start of this. And the opening scene is also pretty great if it didn't look like a set. But yeah, Emily Blunt is amazing here. Score's great, camera works okay, and the acting is top notch. Yeah, I think that covers all the bases. This is just a great movie. I would give it 4.5 out of 5. Now, I do want to discuss more Villeneuve's film in the future, but that would require me to rewatch Prisoners, which I don't know if I will ever do. It's sitting on my shelf right now, but not gonna rewatch it probably. But yeah, I may discuss some of Villeneuve's film in the future. Maybe. But yeah, stay safe and have a good day.